Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the McLean County Board this Thursday, November 10th, 2022. And at this time, please rise for the invocation or a moment of silence by Member Thompson.
Thank you. Gracious Heavenly Father, we humbly bow before you this evening to give praise, thanks, and glory to you for all that you are and all that we have. We thank you for this day and the privilege to serve in this county. May you grant us the wisdom to make the right decision, the courage to make the tough decisions, and the strength to carry out our duties. Lord, we bless all that work here for this county, and may you keep them safe. May they always know what their work is very important to us. We thank you for this great country in which we live and the freedom for which it stands. May you continue to bless this country. May you protect the soldiers and the first responders who stand to defend the freedoms and the safeties that we enjoy. And Lord, as we look around this world, we see trouble and the people in need. And we just pray that for peace and that you would be with them and all of us as we go through these times. We ask these things in your precious and holy name. And all God's people said, amen.
Amen. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, the County Administrator, please call the roll.
Calling of the roll. Catherine Metzger.
Present.
Jim Rogau.
Present.
Susan Schaefer.
Here.
James Solner.
Here.
Gerald Thompson.
Present.
Shana Wachinski.
Here.
George Wendt.
Present.
Josh Barnett. Hannah Beer.
Present.
Beverly Bell.
Present.
Lindsay Bloomfield.
Present.
Sharon Chung.
Present.
Leah Klein.
Present.
Chuck Erickson.
Present.
Bill Friedrich. Here. Elizabeth Johnston.
Here.
Val Lehman. Present. Ryan Lawler.
Here.
Randall Martin. Present. And John McIntyre.
Here. We have 19 members present, one absent. We do have a quorum, and we will move on to the next item, which is appearance by members of the public and county employees in reference to an agenda item. Here comes Mr. Barnett. Now we have 20 members and no one absent, so we do have a quorum. We have 7 people who have applied to speak this evening, and it's all in reference to items on our agenda, so we'll start out. I want to remind every speaker you'll have 3 minutes. They are on the screen. We have a total by rule of 15 minutes. We'll see how it goes from there and try to get everyone in. Okay, so the first one up is Mr. Don Meyer. For those of you who don't know, we take speakers in the order in which they apply to the administrative office.
You heard last month that I served in Extension as an employee for 27 years, 20 of those as county director. I'm encouraging you to continue holding the line on Extension funding. I remain a supporter of 4-H and Extension, and with my family, we donate many hours each year. Again, please hold the line with the lower levy. Last month, you heard my concerns with the fiscal policy, heavy-handed leadership, top-down programming, and staff turnover. Woodford County has already reduced their funding for next year, and I encourage you to do likewise. Today, I want to look to the future with more positive comments and challenge Extension leadership to strengthen the program to lead us back to full local funding. And here's how. Point 1, funding. The Extension tax levy was approved by 62.4% of voters in April of 2001. The vote created a 5-cent levy, and Extension since then has operated comfortably at a 2-cent level. That voter approval was not intended to build a huge carryover. Most tax bodies operate with much lower carryover levels. We heard last month that you as a county board and your carryover was about 12%, much less than Extension's desired 180%. I am confident that our county will annually support Extension with improved trust, honesty, positive discussions, and quality deliverables. If these changes happen, I will be first in line to support this levy in the future. Point number 2, empower and encourage Extension councils. Historically, funding is mostly local. Local citizens from the 3 counties need increased ownership and involvement. Quality council meetings and citizen involvement in determining programming and staffing needs, as well as oversight of finances, are a must. Point 3 is to reinstate a positive relationship with you as a county board. According to the Illinois County Extension Law, extension is in a multi-county unit, quote, to maintain a record showing charges made against funds contributed from each county, unquote. Additionally, quote, the Extension Council shall submit an annual financial report in writing to the County Extension Board, unquote. Transparency of public funds is essential. And as the principal local fund source, this board should be considered an ally to Extension, not an adversary. Point 4, my final point, respect and recognition of Extension volunteers and mend the relationships with those who have left in the past few years. Make every effort to appreciate and recognize volunteers and recruit new ones to replace those who can no longer serve. Volunteerism has always been a pillar of Extension. Past successes were due to valuable volunteer hours donated by hundreds of people. Until we see these improvements, please hold the line on the funding. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to our second speaker, Ms. Sandra McGee.
I'm Sandy McGee, and as a volunteer for over 20 years, and later as an educator for 19 years at our local UI Extension office, I have admired and I've worked to fulfill Extension's mission, take the university to the people. Tonight I come with great appreciation for the thoroughness of this board's finance committee and the time and effort they have extended in determining the appropriate amount for next year's annual extension levy. I agree with their assessment. Dollar assets are already in place for another year of McLean County extension programming. As important, though, are the feet and hands, which are not abundant and continue to diminish. Volunteers who deliver programming are weary of unprofessional mismanagement in our county extension office. Extension programming is in peril, but not for lack of dollars. Our extension programming is losing volunteers at a rate unheard of in our county history. I am hopeful that in the coming year, volunteers and this county board will see and experience a change of leadership in our county extension office. Our funders will see a wise use of resources, and we will also see our volunteers are not only allowed, but encouraged to use their resources and their talents. This is McLean County, and into the very culture of this rural and urban county is a deep-rooted vein of service to others. We volunteers know what a vibrant and vital extension program can look like. And in the wake of this change of county leadership, we volunteers, including myself, will help to rebuild grassroots leadership and a core of enthusiastic volunteers who will be reaching residents of all ages, preschool through retirement, creating and nourishing community partnerships for all income levels, serving individuals in large groups while engaging additional volunteers to serve others. Thank you for your continuing investment in McLean County Extension.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Nick Frillman.
Hello all, and thank you for letting me speak to you tonight. My name is Nick Frillman, and I'm a local food systems and small farms educator based in Bloomington. As the educator title suggests, my primary responsibility with Extension is to work with my team to develop and deliver educational materials, guidance, and resources relevant to all our small farmers and local food system in McLean, Livingston, and Woodford County and beyond. In McLean County, my team and I also do a lot of work not only with the city of Bloomington and town of Normal, but the smaller McLean County communities too, like Downs, Lexington, Chenoa, Danvers, McLean, Leroy, Carlock, Hayworth, and others. Today, I wanted to share a few of the more day-to-day job duties that my team and I perform across the county with you all, so that county board members can hear how much that our communities stand to lose if our budget is cut next year. We interview on ag radio stations, make educational videos, do field experiments, and write many articles for local media, all to discuss and distribute pertinent seasonal information that benefit our farmers, gardeners, residents, and community partners. We conduct research on U of I campus in Urbana that benefit our farmers, businesses, and residents. We lead an active Master Naturalist and Master Gardener program in our unit where over 125 of our active volunteers will work on manicured gardens and natural resource projects in McLean County Parks and Preserves next year. By the way, we just added 20 new Master Naturalist volunteers this year. We attend conferences and professional development opportunities to bring back cutting-edge research-based approaches to youth education, crop production, project management, and more that have had and will continue to have an impact in McLean County. And finally, we manage food access projects. And on this last point, I'm happy to report our work led to the harvest and donation of over 2,000 pounds of produce to food-insecure McLean County residents, just in Bloomington Normal this year, and that's not accounting for the other extension programs in this county and beyond. My point in listing all this to you tonight is that none of this would be possible for us to do without a secure budget for our extension unit. When I started in January of 2021, it was mentioned that our extension unit was one of the more financially secure units in the whole state. Therefore, we were uniquely positioned to benefit our three-county area and its residents with enhanced offerings and services from my Ag and Natural Resource Extension team that just aren't possible in other communities in Illinois. Financial security is what allows this unit of extension to be more impactful than many other units, not only in our region, but across our whole state. All our requests for plants, seeds, trees, program supplies, and more have all been approved because the county board has graciously funded us at these rates. That could all change today. I heard that the amount of extra money that we're talking about here is less than 1 cent of every tax dollar collected in McLean County. Doesn't our work sound like it's worth at least that?
Mr. Fruhlman,
Thank you.
time, thank you. Next is Mr. Jim Smith.
Thank you for the privilege to be able to share my concerns with you this evening. I've been involved with Extension for over 60 years. As a 10-year 4-H member, a 4-H youth extension advisor, a 4-H leader, parent of a 4-H'er, board member and president of the Illinois State 4-H Foundation Board, and currently remain as a Master Gardener. I served as Master Gardener President and was a member on the Advisory Council for 5 years. I even met my wife through Extension, who too was an Extension advisor for several years in the past. Extension has been a major part and influence on me and my family. The programs and services provided by Extension are some of the best. I know how many people benefit from education, involvement, and leadership opportunities. It is the people that volunteer, the members, and those that serve as leaders that make the program successful. McLean County is blessed with a great volunteer base, and they are truly creative, talented professionals capable of ensuring success. However, this group of talented professionals seems to intimidate the current Extension administration. No longer do volunteers have the opportunity to guide and direct programs and services. A top-down approach to program management has frustrated and inhibited the growth and the enthusiasm of volunteers and leaders. We no longer have a Master Gardener Advisory Council to surface ideas and provide input. Extension councils and foundation boards have little, if any, power or input to provide direction. Like you, many of us are frustrated and with the lack of accountability and physical transparency. Master Gardeners over the years have generated funds from projects, activities, and donations. In some cases, it has taken up to 6 to 8 months to receive fund updates. Currently, there is no reporting system in place to share budgets, incomes, or expenditures, nor do we understand the need for such excessive carryover funds at such a high level. Better accountability, transparency, and accurate physical reporting is needed. Like so many others, we look forward to return to locally led, great extension programs and services. It starts with improved respect for volunteers and recognition of volunteer talents and expertise. McLean County Extension can return to be the premier leader in the state and nation again with improved volunteer relationships and grassroots input instead of top-down management. With your vote today, please keep the carryover funds at a modest and more reasonable level. Hold the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Matt Hughes.
Good evening. I am Matt Hughes. I farm near Shirley, Illinois with my wife and daughter. For the past several months, this board has heard from local constituents and taxpayers who shared their concerns with the financial management integrity of our McLean County Extension program. Many of those claims have been contradicted by people from outside the county. I'd like to address a couple of those key points that have directly affected me. You've heard various reasons for why they need this huge carryover. First, there has never been a time they needed that carryover, not even the year the state government shut down. This is the whole point of the local levy in the first place. It gives us local control to avoid the very problems they say they're worried about. And matching funds are not free dollars. While you're taking money out of my pocket to fund the local levy, the state is taking money out of my other pocket to match those funds. Some people feel this is not a local issue. I am one of more than a dozen local taxpayers and volunteers who have reached out to campus pleading our case for the past 5 years, which has fallen on deaf ears. This is indeed a local issue and relevant to this board. Your constituents came together because we saw the decline in our program and are trying to sustain it for everyone in this local community. I am also one of the volunteers who was dismissed without forewarning or recourse. I was first made aware of the problem last year in August, and without any further follow-up or reply from Extension, 4 weeks later, I received a letter of termination. And after 2 months of inquiries as to why I was terminated, I filed a FOIA and have yet to this day finding a substantial reason for that termination. It was never offered an opportunity for a second chance or any kind of reconciliation. Also, contrary to what you may have heard, most of the volunteers involved in this effort have not been trying to hold it back, but rather we all support it and have been been the driving force to move our program forward, embracing STEM and many other programs our community has asked for. For the past 10 years, our family was key in founding and sustaining Medical Robotics, which was a driving force behind bringing robotics to this county and a significant influence on the state program as well. The success of this program came from volunteers and contributions from local businesses with very little assistance from Extension resources. You've heard several people talk about the success of our program, including one specific story about Drew Riva. Last year, Drew received the National Youth in Action Award for STEM, which is given to one individual selected from all the 4-H programs throughout the nation. In the history of this award, there have only been 2 winners from the state of Illinois. The first winner was my son in 2016. Medical Robotics was a key activity for both their award applications. Many of us have been quietly fighting this issue. This was never political, but others have turned it into a political battle and have brought a lot of angst to the youth and families this program is supposed to be serving. Thank you all for your service to this county, and please hold the line and help us fix this problem for next year.
Thank you. At this point, we have 48 seconds left. In order to not interrupt someone in speaking, I need a motion to extend this time. Member Thompson, second by member. I don't need a motion unless there's an objection. I'm sorry. Any objections? 2 more speakers. Okay, we'll continue then. Thank you. Next is Ms. Carolyn Hansen.
Good evening. I've spoken with some of you about my concerns about the state of the 4-H program and other extension programs in our unit, as well as leadership issues that have been echoed by many. The holiday season is quickly approaching. We only have 7 weeks until 2023 begins. So I'd like to share with you my top 10 wishes for the year of 2023 when it comes to 4-H and Extension. Number 10, I wish for all Extension educators and support staff to receive the kind of respect, honesty, support, professional development, and kindness from leadership that each of them richly deserves. I wish for the unit to experience stability among the staff so they can build, implement, evaluate, and then adapt programs to reach the largest number of people possible. I wish for the unit staff to resolve their differences with Thomas Clover's alumni so that both entities can work together for the good of 4-H, just as they have in the past 20-plus years. In 2023, I hope 4-H members will receive project books purchased with reserve funds. If not for each member, then at least a set of books for each community and spin club in the county. That may result in a bigger county fair. I wish for leaders of our 4-H clubs to once again feel welcomed into the office for quarterly meetings for youthful development training, dissemination of information, and be an important part of the 4-H family. I wish for the County Board and Extension Committee to return to the collegial and transparent approach of collaborative leadership that has been experienced in the past, that was built on trust, candor, and respect for each other. I wish for staff to put back the word cooperative into their Extension vocabulary and with their actions so that many stakeholders work together. I hope and wish that staff, particularly leadership, takes to heart the request of the Extension County Board and Finance Committees to thoughtfully and intentionally spend down the reserve so that next year I can stand before you in support of funding Extension. Number 2 is that I wish for staff to reach out to volunteers for their input, opinions, historical perspective, and talents that have largely been ignored for the past 8 to 10 years. Let's welcome those people back into the action, and once again, trust and mutual respect be shared, so that those who have been disenfranchised can be welcomed back into the Extension family. And number 1, my most fervent wish is for McLean County Extension to reach the pinnacle of success it was known and recognized for in the past, as we all adapt to the changes that are needed to stay relevant, and that our numbers grow exponentially because our taxpayers and citizenship deserve nothing less. Thank you for your support. Please hold the line and have a great holiday season.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Ms. Janice McCoy.
Good evening. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Janice McCoy. I'm the Assistant Director for Region 2 for Extension, which includes McLean County. And I bring greetings to you from both Dr. Shelley Nichols Richardson and Harry Clore, who you've met in the past, who are unable because of previous commitments to be here this evening. As I've contemplated what to say this evening that I could add to the discussion about extension funding, there are just a few things that I've been asked in the last week or so that I want to make sure that I mention. The first thing I've been asked is, what are the expenses for the fair? Our annual payment for the rental of the fairgrounds is $49,681. The 4-H fair is separate, and I think most of you know this, from the county fair, but they happen at the same time. The McLean County Fair Association is a separate entity from Extension, and we receive no revenue from ticket or vendor sales at the county fair. However, we do work cooperatively and collaboratively to make a great fair happen. I've also been asked about state matching dollars, and if a mid-year allocation from the county board were made to the unit, would we still be able to receive state matching funds? And the answer to that question is yes. Our program staff in McLean County work really hard. You heard from Nick, you see some of them in the back of the room. They work really hard to deliver high-quality programs that make people's lives better. We're going to continue to deliver those programs for as long as we're financially able that meet the local needs of people where they are, and we'll strive to continually make those programs better. I recognize that county board members have many challenging decisions to make, and funding is just one of them. We are appreciative of your past support, and we will be appreciative of the support that you give us this year, and we'll accept whatever decision you make today for the budget. And finally, I really want you to know that we have lots of energy in Extension, not just for the near future, but for the long future as well. And we're committed to McLean County, and we will continue to provide the outstanding educational programs that you've expected for youth and families. And we look forward to that bright future. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the appearance of the members of the public. We'll go on to item 6, a consent agenda, which you have before you. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Thompson, a second. Second by Member Chung. Any comments or questions or additions or corrections? By the way, this includes item H, which is payment of the bills at the end of the agenda. No comments? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? And the motion is carried. Item at the end of your consent agenda is commendations. So at this time, I'd like to come up and move over. We have 7 members who are leaving. This is their last county board member tonight. And so we gave you a little gift of appreciation. I want to call you up. You have a box in front of you. You're going to get more than just a box. So first of all, I'd like to call up Mr. Randall Martin. For 8 years of service as a member of the McLean County Board from December 1, 2014 through December 4, 2022, including service as Vice Chairman of the Health and Transportation Committees, a member of the Executive, Justice, Property Committees, as well as a member of the Rules and Legislative Subcommittee. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County, the McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all McLean County citizens presented to you this 10th day of November, 2022. Congratulations and thank you for all you've done. Like to say for us?
I just want to say I appreciate the last 8 years. And some people noticed I was smiling when I came in today. This is my last board meeting. So I'll be able to do some farm work that I haven't been able to do for a while. So anyway, thank you very much, and I do appreciate the cookie.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Josh Barnett. Josh? For 6 years and 3 months of service as a member of the McLean County Board from August 16th, 2016 through December 4th, 2022, including service as Chair and Vice Chair of the Property Committee, Chair of the Legislative Subcommittee, a member of the Executive, Finance, Justice, Land Use and Development, and Transportation Committees, and as well as a member of the Rules Subcommittee. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all McLean County citizens presented this 10th day, November 22. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Like say a few words?
Well, I guess like Member Martin, I would just briefly say thank you. First off to my wife, Jenny, for the time that she has enabled me to be able to come and serve the public in this way. You know, I've always thought about my time in the county board truly is about public service, and it's just been a tremendous honor to be able to have this opportunity, to be able to give back to the folks in my district as well as our entire community. And it has been really just a true pleasure to work with every single one of the folks who are here this evening on the board, including staff and administration and those board members who have left us at the end of previous terms. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so very much for the time that we've had together. I appreciate it, and thank you, Chairman McIntyre.
Thank you. Next, we have Honorable State Representative Sharon Chung. For 4 years of service as a member of the McLean County Board from December 3rd, 2018 through December 4th, 2022, including service as a member of the Land Use and Development, Health, and Justice Committees. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all McLean County citizens. Thank you very much. Good luck with your new position.
I was thinking about how Member Barnett and Member Martin are happy because they don't have to go to any more meetings. Looks like I've got a lot more meetings in my future. But thank you so much. I've really enjoyed my time here on the board. It's where I really got my feet wet and really realized that I do have a passion for serving my community, and I'm really looking forward to being able to do that for us down in Springfield. So members who are remaining on the board, I'm always a phone call away. I appreciate it, and look forward to working with you all. So, and thank you to all my colleagues, and thank you, Chairman McIntyre and the administration. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Our next recipient is Mr. Gerald Thompson. For 4 years of service as a member of the McLean County Board from December 3rd, 2018 through December 4th, 2022, including service as Vice Chairman of the Finance Committee, a member of the Transportation, Property, Land Use, and Transportation Committees, as well as a member of the Legislative Subcommittee. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County, the McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all of our McLean County citizens, presented this 10th day, November 22. Thank you, sir.
Well, unlike the invocation, I did not prepare anything. I started my service as a village trustee in early 90s, and one of the topics we were discussing was working on the water tower. And also the local community to the east of us, Saybrook, had that same issues, and I recently had the opportunity to drive through those two communities. The water tower has been replaced and fixed up in Aerosmith. They're actually in the process of fixing the one in Saybrook. I mentioned this because it's all part of public service and the things and the way we can impact people's lives, and it's kind of interesting how that started in one way and we ended up being able to help fix that problem. I just like to say, after 30 years of service in different roles, this is kind of it for me, and it's been a pleasure, it's been an honor, and to work with all of you. I mean that sincerely. Thank you.
Next, we have Mrs. Shana Wachinski. For 4 years of service as a member of the McLean County Board from December 3rd, 2018 through December 4th, 2022, including service as a member of the Land Use and Development, Transportation, Property, and Land Use and Transportation Committees. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all the McLean County citizens, presented this 10th day of November, 2022. Thank you. Okay. Like to say a few words?
Yeah, I also don't have anything prepared, but that's not unusual for me. When I started out my run for county board, I remember vividly going to a gentleman's door who, when I told him I was running against Paul Segoviano, who was the longest serving county board member in the history of the Midwest at, I think, 117 years approximately, that don't forget your political dreams, kid. I said, thank you very much, and I didn't. Nobody thought it would happen. So I guess the thing that I want to say, first of all, is it can happen. Change is necessary. Change is good. I thought a lot over the things that I'm very proud of that we've done on this county board, and there's a lot of things that we have done that I am so proud of. Looking out across this room, there are so many women on this board, and I'm so proud of that. We've worked so hard, changing meeting times. We had a pandemic. We got through that. I mean, it's things that we never thought we would encounter. And there's a lot of things when we were on the campaign trail that we knew we would be confronting. But the most important thing I ever did was speak out. I never thought my first and most memorable action in office would be having to fight for my fellow female members to feel equal and supported and safe. I was warned by 2 previous male colleagues that when I went to get my picture taken, to take someone with me, take a man with me, if I could, because the photographer's house was plastered in life-size photos of naked women and shelves covered in Confederate flags. The entire time he took my picture, he reminded me of how compliant and complacent my Republican female colleague was previously. As we went over to his computer and picked out the photo proof on the laptop that had Playboy bunnies on the backdrop, he reminded me how him and the chairman had been friends for 30 years. They go way back. And they'd had a good laugh about how difficult I was being because I requested not to have my picture taken by that photographer. We no longer use that photographer. No female after me is going to have to be complacent and compliant as the men around them subject them to things that they know better. And all of my male colleagues, the Democrats, and that includes Josh Barnett, got an earful from me about this because they all knew it was wrong. Even the chairman, when he polled everybody later and asked him, isn't she being kind of ridiculous? He found out, well, no, actually, it is wrong. So my advice, don't be complacent. Don't be compliant. They're going to call you what they're going to call you regardless. Speak up. Speak loud. Don't let yourself be interrupted or talked over. And by God, don't be afraid to tell Member Wendt to keep his hands to himself.
Next, we have Ms. Hannah Beer. In recognition of Hannah Beer for 2 years of service as a member of the McLean County Board from December 7th, 2020 through December 4th, 2022, including service as a member of the Health and Justice Committees, on behalf of the citizens of McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all McLean County citizens. Congratulations, dedicated and presented this 10th day of November, 2022. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words?
Like everyone else, I just want to say thank you to McLean County for being my home for the last 6 years or however long I've been here. For everyone on this board, you guys have taught me so much about myself, about local government, about this public service, everything. I never, ever, ever thought I would do something like this and put myself in the position that I did, especially in my race. I never, ever thought that I would do what I did. And I'm just very proud of everything that we've done as a board, and that I feel like I can be that voice and I can be a role model to younger girls to do it. Doesn't matter. And like Shayna said, I'm so happy to see so many women on this board. It's awesome, and I'm so proud of you. You guys, you're all right too, but thank you, everybody. Thank you, administration, and see you guys soon.
And finally, we have a latecomer to our board, Mr. Ryan Lawler, appreciate your duty coming to us for 3 months of service as member of the McLean County Board from August 26, 2022 through December 4th, 2022, including service as a member of Finance and Justice Committees, as well as a member of the Legislative Subcommittee. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County, the McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for you stepping in and dedication, your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for McLean County citizens. If you don't know, at a time when we needed somebody to come in, Ryan came in, we talked. He's an excellent teacher down at Hayworth High School. I'm glad he was here, and thanks for your contribution. Really appreciate your serious concern in doing this.
So, me being the teacher, I did prepare some remarks. When I speak in front of my students, every time I ask them to do an assignment, I do it with them. Whether I vote on a court case or whatever, I always do it. So I always show them, like, here's mine, I'm ready to go too. So this will be my last meeting. I will be transitioning into girls basketball season. My voice is struggling. I just came straight from practice. Been getting on those girls. We start Tuesday, and we want to win some basketball games. So I want to thank the members of this board for welcoming me and allowing me to be involved in my community. At first, I was really hesitant to apply for this appointment. I actually said no the first time. I ran for the seat to be elected and was not selected. And I said, it's not my time. It's not my time. I'm too young. I'm too inexperienced. My time will come. And I knew there was a lot of tension surrounding my seat. I felt that at my first meeting, for sure. But I am really glad I made this decision to jump headfirst into local politics. I'd always told my students, eventually, one day I'll do it. One day you'll be able to vote for me. One day. And I said that the day was that point. I will value the few short months I've served District 4 and will definitely be pinning my little gold name tag to the wall beyond my school desk. I'm very proud of that. That's something I can nerd out about with my future students in civics. I've gotten to know many great people on this board, and I truly respect the people on this board. Whether or not I agree with your viewpoints, it doesn't matter. I respect you, and I truly feel that everyone is here for the right reasons, and I do respect that. Although I was not on the ballot Tuesday night and did not have to suffer the anxiety that came with frantically refreshing the websites, I was in the war room. It was refreshing to not have to do that. I do hope to one day see you all again in the political arena. I don't know what the future holds for Ryan Lawler. However, I'm not ready to give up coaching. I love it too much. And I got a lot of games to win, and I got a lot of regional championships that I still want to win. So if you have a girl that's going to be tall and athletic, move on down to Hayworth, and we'll coach her up. So that's my recruiting pitch. This civics teacher, from the bottom of his heart, thanks this board for a great experience. Thank you, Chair, Administration. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. Congratulations to everyone who served on this board. Appreciate all that you've done. And we'll go on to the standing committee reports. First of all, Executive Committee Vice Chairman Sollner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Executive Committee has a number of items tonight for action. The first one, 7A1A, request for approval of fiscal year 2023 budget as recommended by the Executive Committee, and I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Sollner. Is there a second? Second by Member Bell. Comments, questions, or discussion? Member Lehman?
Good evening. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to amend the fiscal year 2023 budget for the Cooperative Extension 0133.0088 from $30,000 to $80,000, showing an increase of $50,000. So this increase of $50,000, as we heard earlier tonight, the amount that it costs to host the 4-H segment with the McLean County Fair. It's an event that is absolutely loved and enjoyed by all members of McLean County. So that indicates why I've suggested the $50,000 in the increase. I'd like to say that this is an overall compromise with 2018 and 2019 adopted budget being $503,000, the 2020 adopted budget being $375,000.
Do we get an
Oh,
amendment on the
sorry.
floor and then we can discuss?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
My
you.
apologies.
It's okay. Just a motion to amend
exactly.
from 30,000 to 80,000 by Member Lehman and second by Member Rogal. Now we can have more discussion.
There we
Thank
go.
you. You have the
Sorry.
floor.
Thank you very much for the grace here. Again, looking at that budget, last year, 2021, the adopted budget was the 300,000. So this particular suggestion, I'm really looking at as a way that we could perhaps compromise. So the suggestion of adjusting the budget to the total of 80,000 would go forward, and it would spend down quite a bit of that reserve amount, which has been a significant concern throughout our past conversations. And this would be seen as potentially acting in good faith, right? Not going forward and restoring the full budget, but it would be kind of putting out a hand, as we've heard some of our constituents say this evening, they'd like to see more cooperative in the cooperative extension piece. So I'd like to suggest that we do a little bit of cooperation. And with this particular amount, suggesting that increase to 80,000, which would be the increase specifically to our levy of 50,000, as far as I understand, that would still come under last year's levied total budget of $127,000. So it would not increase the overall tax bill of our residents and of our constituents. And just as a little asterisk note, with this suggestion, we would also need to take a look at an amendment to 7A1D involved. So I yield to my colleagues to discuss and share.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comments? Member Klein?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm sure there will be several people who want to speak, but in the last few months, I have had the opportunity, I think I've spent at least 100 hours speaking to Extension staff, Extension participants, program participants, staff members in Urbana, and I have gotten more acquainted with the extension budget than I thought I would ever get. And so I'd like to support this amendment. I understand that there are significant concerns, and I think that this amendment is a reasonable step to support the fair. The fair is something that all of us enjoy. This is not just an event for Extension. I'm not a member of Extension. I don't participate in Extension, but I take my friends' neighbors to go see the chickens every year. So this is something that I think that we can agree on is an important community event and will, as Member Lehman said, provide an opportunity to give us a compromise. I would like simply to say that the first day that the Extension Board made the adjustment to $30,000 for the budget, we objected and we asked for compromise. And we have been asking for compromise ever since. This is not something that is coming out today, but we are forced to do this because of the structure of our county government. And I simply ask that our colleagues be reasonable and meet us halfway, a little bit more than halfway on our side, but to meet us halfway. So thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Member Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was a 4-H leader, or part of a leadership team for 4-H club from when my kids were in 4-H. And at that time, our 4-H show was one of, if not the largest 4-H show in the country. And after my kids have, gotten out of 4-H, and I still go to the fair every year because as board members, we get free tickets. And I always walk through the 4-H show. And back when my kids were in it for a couple of years, it was still at where Berkey's is, which is that huge building. And at that time, when you had 15,000 projects there, you couldn't even move in that building when you were at the day for judging. And so then it was moved when Berkey's bought the building it was moved to the smaller building off to the side that nobody knows even exists because there's really not a lot of signage and direction for people to go explore the 4-H projects. So, every year when I go, I wander through, and every year there's fewer and fewer projects. And it's kind of sad to see that. I don't know, I've never paid a lot of attention to what some people were, talking about on management and things like that. That's not what I was looking at. But then I hear that kids have to pay for their books. My kids never had to pay for their books, for their project books. And so I think there's a missed opportunity here because there's a lot of people that probably would love to have things their kids could be involved in, but they don't have the money. And so how many missed opportunities are we going to have with kids that have mental health issues right now that want a safe spot, want some things to do that, or maybe are small groups, kind of thing. And they can learn. My kids learned life skills in the projects they did. It's not all ag, because that's what I thought it was, because I'm from suburban Chicago, grew up. So there used to be a Heartland, at Heartland Community College, there used to be a day where kids would go make projects. I don't believe that that's happening anymore. So I think that there's a lot of missed opportunities that have happened, and I really can't support any change to what was proposed in the budget, because I would like to see them prove to me that they're making changes and that things are moving forward and things like that. There's a little deja vu here with the health department and the board of, and the county board too. We've been through this, and it can be worked on and have individuals and the boards come to agreement. It takes a lot of work and build trust back and build those relationships back. But I think at this point, I can't support anything other than what was originally recommended. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Went, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I agree with Member Schaefer, in fact, even to a greater extent, because it's a question of how they use taxpayers' money. I've been informed that several of their 4-H groups had free rent given to them for their activities, and instead of accepting the free rent, the board is spending $40,000 a year to rent space for these 4-H projects over the next 3 years. Now, if I had been on the finance and known this, I would have zeroed that levy out to zero after finding out that they just wasted $120,000 of taxpayer money. So I think we should at least honor what the Finance Committee came up with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Member Metzger?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to repeat a few things that happened at the Finance Committee. And prior to that, Member Solner, Member Thompson, and I were appointed to the Extension Board. We are the 3 members that were appointed by from the county board to this Extension Board. The Extension Service then appoints 3 other members. I will tell you that Member Solner and I are the only members that have been there the entire time, that for the past 7 or 8 years. There has been 100% turnover on the number of board members that were assigned to be by the Extension Board. We've never seen the same person one time. We've seen the same person twice. We have met, when I started, we met one time. Bobby Sibley came in, told us that her amount that she wanted was $500,000 and I said, I can't do that. We don't have any budget information. We had nothing. Bill Wasson had gone to Champaign, tried to get information from the university on the budgets, and was denied. From that point on, we went ahead, Mr. Solner and me, and I believe it was Scott Murphy at that time, agreed to go ahead and give $500,000. But I told them we would not do that again until we saw the budget, saw the numbers. What did we get the next year? And I said, we need to meet in March. We did meet. What did we get? Not the whole amount. Never have I been on a committee that there were not adequate and forthright coming of information on budgets. It was unacceptable. We got it, could not make hide nor hair of it. I think Ms. Taylor was with me at those meetings. She can attest that we, at the last minute, we were just getting this, trying to figure out what they meant. At that point, they had we figured out they had $1.3 million in reserve. We said we need to spend that down. That board, again, 6 members, very much like the health board, voted to reduce that levy from 500, a little bit lower, I can't remember the exact amount. Every year we did this following. Every year that amount was higher. And every year we had to struggle to get information from the University of Illinois. I have never, ever been on any kind of committee, whether it is a public body or a private body, that we weren't able to come up with the information. I have to thank Kathy Dreyer for digging through information. And this year, how much do they have? $2.7 million. That the board, the extension board, met, we spoke, we decided that they needed to spend down. They have never spent down. Every year that I have been on that board, there has been an increase in the reserve every single year from 1.3 to 2.7. Not saying that the programs are not good. I'm not saying that the people that work for the Extension Service are not valuable people and don't do excellent work. I'm saying that they've got to spend our taxpayer money down. We do not have, this is not a savings account for the Extension or my alma mater, which I'm sad to say at this point, are hoarding McLean County money. Janice McCoy at that meeting and Bobby Sibley, I looked at them. She was sitting to my left. And I said, we need to reduce this levy. We proposed $30,000. That board agreed to $30,000. There were 6 members, 5 voted, 1 did not. All voted to reduce that levy. I looked at Janice McCoy and I said, there is plenty of money to have the fair. There's plenty of money for every single program. There's plenty of money to buy seed. There's plenty of money to buy trees, whatever is needed, because you have $2.7 million of McLean County money sitting in Urbana. So I am not Mrs. McCoy. I looked at her and I said, you have plenty of money. There should not be reductions in programs. There should not be reductions in any supplies. There should not be reduction in the county fair. And she said, looked at me and she said, oh, that won't happen. And it should not happen because you have $2.7 million. I think compromise is wonderful. And I believe that We worked on that diligently at the Health Committee. And I have my Health Committee members of Ms. Beer, Ms. Bell, and Ms. Chung, and then also Mr. Martin, that we came to a compromise to spend down that $4.6 million of taxpayer money that was in reserve, and we're starting to do that. I cannot support continually having taxpayer money to the tune of thousands, millions of dollars. So I obviously am not voting to compromise. That does not mean, though, to my fellow board members, I am not able to compromise on other issues, but this one, I have to stand firm.
Thank you, Mr. Grogal.
Yeah, so extension in 4-H in this community is an integral part of the homeschool community that we have. All 5 of my children are homeschooled. They're all part of 4-H. They're all active in extension. During the pandemic, we were able to get take-home kits from the extension. My kids love the fair. My community isn't rural. My district isn't rural. The Unity Center is in my district. Because of extension, they have a community garden that gives vegetables and fruit and things to the people in need in our community. They have after-school programs in our community at that center. This is more than just unhappiness with leadership. This should be a commitment to the kids and to the families in this county. And so for that, I'm going to vote yes.
Okay, any other comments? Member Thompson.
Thank you. First, I'd just like to make sure we all understand that tying this to the tax levy of the county is not really relevant because these are not our funds. They're collected. We levy them, we collect them, and then we distribute them, and we have no control over how they're spent, literally. So be careful drawing that distinction. Yeah, one of the main points to me is just fiscal responsibility. Even after these cuts, I mean, they have over 100% of their budget. I mean, I just cannot bring myself to ask taxpayers, and I know it's a small number, but it's also the point of what you're doing. And these times when prices are high for gas and heating and groceries and everything else, we want to build their pot so they can have more money. I just don't. I just can't go there. One of the people that, one of the parts, the important things of this levy is the flexibility of it. We can lower it when they don't need it. We can also raise it when they do need it. And I can assure you that the people that have spoke behind us will be in here when they get things straightened out, and I'm confident that they will, but when they get those things straightened out, they will be in here speaking just as loud as they are tonight, if not louder, asking for more funding and bringing this because they believe in the program. They've stated that very clearly. You've talked about the fair. As a past board member of the McLean County Fair Board, I can assure you the fair will be fine. The McLean County Farm Bureau supports that, and there will be a fair, I can assure you. So we don't need to worry about that issue. I just think that we spent a lot of time looking at where the numbers should go to. We came to a conclusion, and even after the cuts, they've got 100% of their budget to spend. So I would encourage you to hold the line and stay where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Johnston.
Thank you, Chair McIntyre. I've spent a good bit of time talking to people, both in requested meetings and at doors. As I knocked and walked through my campaign, I've taken in a lot of information, listening to the speakers last month and this month. It's a call for collaboration, a call for transparency and accountability, which I can echo. I would like to see that happening between our boards. I will be voting in favor of the amendment because in the past few months, as we've been having discussions with U of I staff, they have begun the process of making change. I know that volunteers received an email that the leadership was changing, and I believe it was Ms. McGee, if this is what she was referring to, is that with the new leadership, with leadership changes, that there comes a potential and an opportunity for making changes that they would like to see happen. So when we're looking at the budget, and I know that it doesn't come as quickly as has been asked, but I know that yesterday we received, I have a copy in my hand of the U of I Extension budget that will end June 30th, 2023. What I'm looking at is the total expenses. So we keep throwing around we keep hearing the 2.7 million in reserves. With our $300,000 levy from last year, when the budget ends this June, they will have spent down to 1.4 million from the 2.7. So they are spending down, they are using those reserves to shore up these programs. The $80,000 that we are proposing will allow them to continue to spend down while they are making some progress. I feel like the $50,000 to support the fair, or to support the 4-H at the fair, is a step of good faith, a show of good faith on our part for the steps that they're already taking to make some of the changes. I know the frustration of the people that spoke tonight and the fact that they feel like they've been unheard for years, and that's been going on. But the changes are starting to happen. And as a counselor, when I work with patients and I am seeing them and they're working with families to make changes, as soon as the person they're trying to work with makes a step forward, you want to reward that. You want to encourage that kind of behavior and that kind of collaboration. And so that's why I feel like 50,000 may feel nominal, but it is important that we do extend that hand as they are trying to make changes as well. So I will be voting in favor of the 50,000 amendment.
Okay, any other comments? Not, then I'll call the question. Since this is a budget item, I'll have a roll call vote. Please call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of the amendment to add $50,000 to the $30,000 as currently proposed in the budget. A no vote is obviously not in favor.
Member Metzger.
No.
Jim Rogal.
Yes.
Susan Schaefer.
No.
James Solner.
No.
Gerald Thompson.
No.
Shana Wachinski. George Wendt. No. Josh Barnett.
Yes.
Hannah Beer.
Yes.
Beverly Bell.
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield.
No.
Sharon Chung.
Yes.
Leah Klein.
Yes.
Chuck Erickson.
No.
Bill Friedrich.
No.
Elizabeth Johnston. Val Lehman.
Yes.
Ryan Lawler.
Yes.
Randy Martin. And John McIntyre. 10-10.
So we have a 10-10 tie, so the amendment fails. We will move on now to go back to the original proposal, which is a request for our fiscal year 2023 budget as recommended by the Executive Committee. Is there a motion? Oh, we've got a motion by Member Solon. Is there a second? Do we have a second already? Second by Member Bell before? Okay, we're back to that. Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Do we want a roll call vote? Let's have a roll call vote.
Jim Rogal.
No.
Susan Schaefer.
Yes.
Jim Solner.
Yes.
Gerald Thompson.
Yes.
Shana Wachinski. George Wendt.
Yes.
Josh Barnett.
Yes.
Hannah Beer,
No.
Bev Bell,
No.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Yes.
Sharon Chung, Leah Klein,
No.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
Bill Friedrich,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston, Val Lehman, Ryan Lawler,
No.
Randall Martin, and Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
And yes for me.
and John McIntyre.
So we have 11 yes, 9 no. Motion passed. Mr. Solner, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next item is 7A, 1B, requests approval and adoption of the fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance and the 5-year capital improvement plan, and authorize the chairman and the county clerk to sign. I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Barnett. Comments or questions? We'll have a roll call vote.
Starting at the top, Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
Jim Rogal,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
James Solner, Gerald Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Wachinsky, George Wendt, Josh Barnett,
Yes.
Hannah Beer,
Yes.
Beverly Bell,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Yes.
Sharon Chung, Leah Klein,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
Bill Friedrich, Elizabeth Johnston, Val Lehman, Ryan Lawler,
Yes.
Randy Martin, and John McIntyre.
Yes.
Unanimous.
We have a unanimous vote on that. Passes. Member Solner, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next item, 7A, 1C, request for approval and adoption the fiscal year 2023 full-time equivalent positions resolutions, and authorize the chairman and the county clerk to sign. I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Bell. Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? And the motion is passed.
Next item is 7A, 1D, request approval and adoption of the 2022 tax levy ordinance for McLean County, and authorize the chairman and the county clerk to sign. It says this is a roll call vote. I'm so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner, second by Member Schaefer. This is a roll call vote. Please call the roll.
Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
Jim Rogal,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Jim Solner, Gerald Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Wachinsky, George Wendt, Josh Barnett,
Yes.
Hannah Beer,
Yes.
Bev Bell,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Yes.
Sharon Chung, Leah Klein,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
Bill Friedrich, Elizabeth Johnston, Val Lehman,
Yes.
Ryan Lawler,
Yes.
Randy Martin, and John McIntyre.
Yes.
Unanimous.
We have a unanimous vote. Motion passed. Member Solner?
Next is 7A, 1E, request county board authorization to have the county administrator publish fiscal year 2023 adopted budget appropriation ordinance and the 2022 tax levy ordinance. I so move.
Motion by Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Bloomfield. Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The motion is passed.
Next item is 7A, 1F, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2022 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the general fund FEMA grant. I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Thompson. Comments, questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The motion is passed.
The The general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll move on to item B on Finance Committee. Chairman Metzger.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. We have 7B1A, and that's request approval of fiscal year 2023 compensation plan, and I so move.
A motion by Chairman Metzger, second by Member Schaefer. Comments or questions? Discussion? Member Metzger.
I want to recognize some people that worked diligently on this. Our administration, it's a very, very good document. The administration department worked very hard, but especially our HR department who put this together. We are seeing our non-union employees receiving increased salaries and because of the work that's been done, and it is reflected in this compensation plan. And I certainly appreciate the effort that went into this and want to commend all that had their hands on this document. It's a very well done document. And I think our employees are deserving of it, and we look forward to implementing it, I hope.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. And opposed, and the motion is passed.
And we have a general report and the unimproved meeting minutes for the Finance Committee on pages 10 through 14, and I'd be happy to field any questions.
Thank you. We'll go on to the report of the Health Committee. Chairman Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has no items for action tonight, and our general report can be found on pages 18 through 22.
Thank you. We'll go on to item C, Justice Committee. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Justice Committee brings 4 items for action. The first action item is item 7C11A, request approval of a state court improvement program grant award agreement with the Administrative Office of the Illinois Courts, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson, second by Member Martin. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion is passed.
Next item is item 7C11B, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2022 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Circuit Court, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson, second by Member Chung. Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion is passed.
Next item on the agenda is item 7C11C, request approval of an interlocal agreement between the City of Bloomington, Illinois, the Town of Normal, Illinois, and the County of McLean, Illinois, regarding the 2022 Burn Justice Assistant Grant Program Award, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second? Second by Member Beer. Comments or questions? Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And it's passed.
Last item on the agenda is item C11D, request approval of an AAMC Uniform Clinical Training Affiliation Agreement and AAMC Uniform Clinical Training Affiliation Agreement Implementation Letter, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson, second by Member Johnston. Comments or questions? Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the motion's passed.
Mr. Chairman, the Justice Committee has no other items for action. Our general report can be found on pages 6 through 9 of the unimproved minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on to the report of the Property Committee. Chairman Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property Committee brings forward 1 item for action this evening. Item C21A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2022 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the McLean County, our old courthouse plasterwork, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Barnett. Is there a second? Second by Member Rogal. Comments or questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the motion's passed.
Mr. Chairman, property has no other items for action this evening. A copy of our report may be found in the unapproved minutes packet.
Thank you. We'll go on to the report of the county administrator, Ms. Taylor.
Oops.
Oops.
Land use.
Land use, right, turn the page too quick, sorry. Report of Land Use and Transportation Committee, Chairman Zollner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to mention, I want to thank Member Thompson for taking my place at the Land Use and Transportation Committee meeting. I watched it on the YouTube channel, and he did a fine job. So, this item is, looks like C3, Land Use and Transportation Committee. The item is C31A. Request the Ecology Action Center to approve the renewal of a 3-year McLean County Solid Waste Program agreement between the EAC, McLean County, and the City of Bloomington and the Town of Normal. I so move.
Motion by Chairman Zollner, second by Member Thompson. Comments or questions? Member Chung.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I first got onto the board in 2018, I served on the Land Use, well, it was Land Use and Development Committee back then. And I always sort of used this time whenever Mr. Brown and the Ecology Action Center came up to sort of speak on the things they're working on, to sort of commend them on that. I haven't had a chance to do that since I haven't been on land use in 2 years. And one thing that I do want to actually say here tonight is that we have a very special organization, the Ecology Action Center. It's something very unique to our area, very unique to, honestly, almost anywhere in the state. It's something that I've kind of noticed as I've been campaigning here these past few months, is that we have a really special thing here, and I just would like to commend the Ecology Action Center and Mr. Brown for all the work that they do, and especially here with sort of being in charge of our solid waste program here in our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is passed. Thank you.
That's all Land Use and Transportation has today. General report can be found in the unapproved minutes. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll go on to item G, County Administrator Report, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman. I have no items to present this evening.
Okay, thank you. Number 9 on our agenda, appearances by members of the public and county employees in a reference to an item that's not on the agenda. We have one item of business. Mr. Mike Swartz here. Mr. Swartz is with the McLean County Farm Bureau.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening. I'm Mike Swartz. I'm the manager for McLean County Farm Bureau, as just introduced. And with me this evening is Aaron Rader. He's a farmer and farmland owner and also a member of the McLean County Farm Bureau Board. At your September board meeting, you took 2 actions that actually recognized different aspects of agriculture, and we appreciate that. The first one was a approved proclamation that recognized the National Farm and Safety Week. Secondly was actually a resolution acknowledging your support of McLean County agriculture and its value to our local communities and our rural communities that thrive out in the countryside, and also expressing support for your continued growth and development of agriculture within the county. McLean County Farm Bureau leaders want to now recognize you for your actions that you took. We are now recognizing you, as well as many county farm bureaus and county boards across the state of Illinois have approved the similar resolutions as allies in agriculture. So I'm here tonight to present to you, whoever want to come and accept that, a plaque that would indicate your support for agriculture. So it'll be on behalf of the farmers and farmland owners and the ag businesses in McLean County. We thank you for your support of agriculture. Thank you for your time and interest and support of your actions and interest in agriculture throughout the county. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah.
Have any other business for tonight? Anyone have any comments? Member Metzger?
Yes, I just wanted everyone to enjoy a homemade sugar cookie that I provided to everyone. And just so everyone knows, the recipe came from a 4-H book that I had when I was a 9-year-old.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything for tonight? If not, well, thank you all for coming. Be safe, and we'll see you all again. And for those of you, it's your last meeting, we appreciate your service, and have a good night. Bye.